It's a good day to start off with a smile. It's a very peaceful day, very still day. Yet there's something within that has something to say. You may be able to hear the highway in the distance, or the birds chirping in the background, the stream trickling. And I woke up this morning thinking, who am I to be posting YouTube videos? The power of water. And although I really don't know the answer to that question, who am I to be making videos? I do know my reason why. I do know my reason, my purpose, my intention. And although an outside observer may not know, they may look and say, hey, who is this guy? What is his why? Why is he posting this and that? They might want to know the facts. And they may ask, is this dude real? Or is he wearing a mask? You know, I've often asked that. We can oftentimes be critical of ourselves. Sometimes the hardest person to love is ourselves. But in order to love anybody else, it all starts within. And so I make this video because we want to have discrimination. We want to be vigilant and use discernment. Because there's a lot of things people can be posting on here that, can lead to confusion. And I'm not one to point at the world and say that it's an illusion. Say that, this world is the Matrix. This reality is not real. I'm not propounding that philosophy because, really, like all beauty, the world is in the eye of the observer, of the witness. And we can all be that loving witness that has the ability to use our discriminative faculty and our intellect without identifying with it. We can compartmentalize it. We can use it to navigate the worldly reality without getting caught up in attachment, because the world really has no traps. Intrinsically, it's really our attachment to it that's the trap. It all starts within. And some people may call me a man of renunciation, but he calls me a monk. I'm like, I don't identify with that label, right? Kind of living that lifestyle, but we were talking about renunciation, and I was saying there's nothing to renounce. There is no renunciation, because when you see everything as one, there's that sense of oneness, and you realize that nothing's really yours. There's nothing to own. There's nothing to control, because it's all the Lord's. Then where's the question of renunciation? It's really an inward attitude. There's nothing in the world to renounce. It's an attitude towards that thing, whatever it is. You can operate in a state of detachment and still be completely involved with the world wholeheartedly and lovingly, without really getting caught up in it. That's the beauty. That's kind of the balance, we could say. And thus we can see all the nuance of life. we could say, is infinitely complex. There's all these different infinite permutations and combinations of the one fundamental life substance, of the essence, of the source, of the intelligence that is all bliss, and it's sourced from within. You don't want to try to find happiness in the world, and that's kind of what inspired this video also. Waking up this morning thinking, about the past. This new year, today's New Year's Eve, and although I probably won't post a video until next week, till now, next week, right? I was thinking about New Year's resolutions and how a buddy that I used to go to the gym with, well, he actually owns the gym. This is the only month, January, where he doesn't accept any new clients. He kind of renounced the world too, like, because people have the tendency to want to make a bunch of New Year's resolutions, and I was thinking this morning, I was like, I have no New Year's resolutions. I'm fully resolved already. You want to think that way. I am this now. It's not something that I want to be in the future. We can be that today. It doesn't have to be a special occasion. It doesn't have to be a new year for us to change. And so I make this video as I was kind of reflecting a little bit on the past. And I used to be caught up in the worldly trap, we could say. I would wake up every morning next to my girlfriend and have a quick lay. Start off with a J. Start off with a joint. And of course, after that, had a big breakfast. And I was young, the human body's very resilient. And it can take a lot of beating. But if you live that way for a while, it'll catch up with you. And it did, even as a young man. And I refer to it as my early midlife crisis, because it was a catalyst, an impetus for change. Ended up going to jail, and I was selling weed and living a lifestyle that was very petty. Although I thought I was a shit. Driving around a Dodge Charger, using other people's money to satisfy my own self-indulgence, my cravings, my worldly desires, and thus I was caught up in the worldly, which is really related to our inner energy. I haven't really mentioned hell much in these videos on this channel, but I have mentioned briefly that if we're not careful and conscious, we can have our inner energy, the source within us, the light within us, kind of stuck and trapped and locked in the lower regions, in the lower chakras, where there's a persistent outward search to satiate or fill a void that really only God can fill. That we can fill within ourselves by allowing that energy to rise up into the heart. And realize that there's more to life than survival. That's not the goal. Of course, that's a part of life. You don't want to neglect it and negate it. Say that there's something wrong with it. But we don't want to get caught up in it and thinking that that's it. You want to operate in balance. And so I express this because, I was reflecting a little bit on the past. And although I don't identify with that, understand that's not who I am. It doesn't define me, right? I'm not defined by a personality. I'm not defined even by what I said previously, a few seconds ago, in this video. And when you live that way, you can utilize memory, you can utilize your discriminative faculty without getting caught up in it. So you're not identified with it. You can use the mind, but you realize you're not the mind. You can use the body, you can get out in nature and walk and feel it wholeheartedly without really feeling like you're a separate entity. You feel one with it. You feel connected with it. Because your heart's open. Because you've allowed that energy to rise within you. Because you've seen beyond the illusion that, the true freedom and the true happiness is found in the persistent search, the outward search, and trying to fulfill your every worldly desire. Nothing wrong with desire. We all have desire. But the question really is the direction of the desire. Different people, we could say, are, I don't want to say classified, but are differentiated based on different desires. It's really our degree of consciousness. What we're conscious of within us. If we're conscious of the source intelligence and this energy, our essence, then naturally we'll desire differently. The direction of our desire will move our energy upward, as opposed to being constantly engaged in the outward. And of course, what's without is essentially within. Because as we look out into the world, what we're really seeing is a reflection. It's a projection of our inner world. And so you reach a certain point where you accept responsibility wholeheartedly. Realize that any problems that you may perceive in the world is actually a reflection of how you feel inwardly. All problems are yours, essentially. Life doesn't have problems. There's no problems in the world. Again, there's no traps in the world. There's nothing to renounce in the world. It's all stems from within. It's all subjective. And when you're reflective, you reflect. Self-inquiry. Naturally, you persist in that, it'll lead to self-discovery. Anyways, just kind of wanted to go on a little tangent there. Take care. Happy New Year. I really hope that you keep the hope, keep the faith.